Morning, Trillium family. Today is Sunday, the 17th of March. We'll be analyzing some few pairs for the week. In this analysis, we'll be looking at potential directions where those currency pairs we'll be reviewing would go. So let's launch our chart. Okay, so first, let's look at the Euro USD chart. Let's look at the Euro USD chart, right? And see where it potentially could go. All right, so I'll switch to the daily time frame. Let's look at the daily time frame, right? Okay. This was our previous analysis, so I'll get rid of that so that we can analyze from the start. Cancel. Delete. Yep. All right. All right. So, at a glance, just looking at this, we can see that the market is kind of ranging, but if you critically look at it, we've actually come out of a uptrend recently. We created a new low at this point here, right? We're moving on an uptrend, and we created a new low. So for those of you in our mentorship, you already know what we're looking for. We're looking for a pullback to a specific area in the chart, which we had here, right? And here's another new low that was created lower than this. Now, what we're expecting generally is for the market to pull back, which it has done already, and for us to see a continuous push to the downside overall, right? So we'll be looking for a push from this side to see it create, at least come to the bottom of this push here, or create a new low. All right, so this is what we'll be looking out for next week. So this is the daily chart, and this is what we're expecting next week. All right, we've already started seeing some signs of push around this area. So let's look at the 4-hour time frame, right? So if you look at the 4-hour time frame, we can see clearly that the market has actually already created a reversal pattern for us, which is an extra confirmation of what we've been expecting to happen. All right, so we have a high form, a lower high, a low, and a lower low. So we've already had a push to the downside. So we should be expecting a little push back to this area before we see a continuation to the downside. All right, so we'll be trading this with our mentorship students. For you to get the precise points where we'll be entering, make sure to subscribe for our mentorship. It will take you through the very process or steps in which we take to identify this particular point in the market. All right, so let's look at another chart. Let's look at gold. Right, so let's look at gold. So the same thing will start from the daily time frame. It's always good for you to have a broad perspective of the market before going down the smaller time frames to make your buying or selling decisions. All right, so I want to delete the previous analysis we had. Right, okay, so last week we saw gold made a new high, a high it has never made before. So gold created a new high. And as usual, whenever you have a high, there must be kind of a pullback before we have a continuation to the upside. Overall, the trend of gold has been up for a very long time. All right. So we had the previous all-time high broken. So we had a move like this to the upside. We created a all-time high at this point. Then we had it push back into the range. Then it kind of consolidated for a while before we finally had a push to the upside to create a new all-time high. So what we're expecting gold to do is to push down before we see a potential push to the upside, right? So what we'll be looking out for this week is more sell opportunities. So let's go down to the 4-hour time frame, right? All right, so the network's kind of slow. All right, so going to the 4-hour time frame, you can see clearly that we begin the descent to the downside. All right, but if you check, we've really not cleared this low here. We've been having the market push and bounce off that low. So what we would be expecting, even though we've been creating lower highs, as we've been creating lower highs, right? And kind of the same lows. What I'll be expecting next week, or what will give me more confidence to go short on this pair, is when I get a real push to the downside where we have a break of this low that has been rejected for a while. So we'll be waiting for to see something like this. Then we'll enter at the pullback for a push to the downside. All right. So this is our outlook for gold next week. Right. All right. So as you can clearly see, we've been having highs, lower highs, but the lows has been the same. So we'll be expecting it to break out of this particular support zone before we look for potential sells. All right. So let's look at the last pair. Let's look at if we can find any other pair. Let's look at the BTC pair, right? Bitcoin. All right. So the same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin had an all-time high last week, daily. All right. So let's look at the weekly because I think we have more information there. Right. Okay. So we've had this area here that was rejected around that same zone before we had this final push to create a new high that was higher than this previous high. Now, normally the market doesn't just keep moving up or down forever. So we've tapped into the all-time high area and we should be expecting sort of a pullback before having any form of continuation to the upside. And as you can already see on the weekly, we've already started having rejections down to the rejections to the downside. So let's switch to the daily. You can see on the daily that for the last 3 days we have Bitcoin moving downwards, and our general bias is that it will continue moving downward for a while. So let's go to the 4-hour. All right. And you see that we've been creating new lows and new lower highs, which signifies that we're in a clear downtrend, right? As you can see here, we are in a clear downtrend. The market's been making lower highs and lower lows, so should be expecting something like this to keep pushing to the downside until the trend is violated, we'll keep selling BTC. All right, so thank you for watching. If you've not subscribed to this channel, I highly recommend you do. And if you want to partake in the trade, as to take these trades with us this week, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also to sign up for our mentorship. Our mentorship is going for just $50 and it's soon going to go up. So take advantage of the price drop in our mentorship. Our mentorship is exclusive and you get to ask questions and you get to see our exact entries and exit points. All right, thank you. Share this video and leave a comment on where you think or what you think about this analysis. Thank you and see you in the next video. Peace.